Okay, so reproductive system, anatomy and physiology. Okay, now let's look at the concept of reproduction. Okay, reproduction is very simple. Reproduction basically is a process through which living organisms produce their offsprings. Is that okay? And it's because of reproduction we are all on this earth. We are all alive. Is that okay? So the process through
You
which
correct?
um,
Said you correct.
human beings are able to produce their offspring. That is what we refer to as reproduction. Okay, and reproduction is what ensures the existence or the survival of species. Is that the reason why throughout generations the human species continue to live is because of reproduction? Is that okay? Either than that, there would be, you know, there wouldn't be any human being alive. Okay, but because of the process of reproduction, the human species is always in existence on Earth. Okay, not only human beings, all other organisms. So reproduction is a biological process through which living organisms produce their offsprings, and that ensures continuation of their species. Okay, now reproduction as a concept in biology, okay, is one of the factors that helps with population stability. Is that okay? So, for example, if you take a country like Ghana, okay, our population stability depends on reproduction, how much people are giving birth. Is that it can greatly influence our population. Okay, population basically is the total number of people living in a specific geographical area at a period of time or in a particular time or period. Okay, now that population, our population, whether or not it will be stable, okay, whether or not the population will increase or it will decrease, one of the factors that controls that is the process of reproduction. Okay, so reproduction helps us to maintain population stability. Now, again, reproduction is also a process through which human beings we are able to, pass on or transfer our genetic materials. Is that okay? So for some of you, your intelligence, some of you, you had your intelligence from your parents. Okay, you inherited it from your parents. And we are passing your skin color, the way you even talk. Some of you, how you even talk is just similar to your parents. All that characteristics is possible because of reproduction. Is that okay? It's possible because of reproduction. And like I mentioned earlier, reproduction is a process that supports the survival of species. Okay. Again, it plays a central role in evolution. Is that okay? Yes. So if we look at the reproductive system organs, the reproductive system organs are basically organs that are working together, okay, to ensure production of gametes. The gametes in reproductive system is what we refer to as eggs. So if we talk of the male reproductive system, you see we have the the sperm or the sperm cell. If we talk of the female reproductive system, we have the eggs. Is that okay? So the entire reproductive system, the organs there, the structures there, they are just meant to ensure the production of the sperm cell, the female egg, and then they are also there to ensure the for females, the reproductive system goes beyond just the eggs, the gam, fertilization, to even support fetal development. Is that okay? Because you see, fetus develops in the female reproductive system. Is that okay? So that should tell you the reproductive system as a concept is something that is very important in biology. Okay, great. And I also mentioned the other time that the reproductive system, we've learned a lot of systems. is that we've learned cardiovascular, we've learned endocrine, you've learned respiratory, you've learned urinary, you've learned a lot of systems, you've learned nervous system. But this very system is the only body system that can create new life. Okay, cardiovascular system cannot create new life. Is that okay? Nervous system will not create a new life for you. Okay, but this very system is the only system in the human body that can create a new life, meaning that can create another organism similar to the human being. This very system. And it tells you that this system is also, a very important system that we have to really pay attention to. And again, I mentioned that this system works hand in hand with the endocrine system. Okay, there's a system that works hand in hand with the endocrine system to ensure the regulation of hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and all of that. Okay, great. But then for the reproductive system, for some reasons or certain factors, there are times that within a person's lifespan, the reproductive system may be dormant, meaning they may not be active until the person gets to adulthood or until the person reaches what we call sexual maturity before the reproductive system sometimes become active. Is that okay? You may be born having the organs there in place, but then they require some time, to become matured before they become active. Okay. So now let's look at the organs of the reproductive system. Okay, we are going to look at the organs of the reproductive system. You know, the reproductive organs for males, okay, they are a bit different from the reproductive organs for females. Okay, what that means is female reproductive organs, there are certain unique organs that we will talk about. Male reproductive organs, we have some unique organs that we will be discussing. Okay, so for the male reproductive organs, we have the testes, we have the epididymis. Let me show you the image. So these are the male reproductive organs. Okay, so when we ask you to talk about the male reproductive organs, these are the male reproductive organs. So we have the testes, which is within the scrotum. So this is the testis, this one. And then we have the epididymis. This is the epididymis. Okay, this one is the epididymis. Okay, so this is the testis, this one is the epididymis. And then we have the vas deferens, this one. You see, this tube from here coming down to join the urethra. This is what we call the vas deferens. The vas deferens. Okay, and then we have the seminal vesicles. The seminal vesicles. The seminal vesicles. And then we have the prostate, or you can call it prostate gland. Prostate gland. Okay, great. And then we have the urethra. Okay, the urethra. And then we have the penis. So when we ask you to list or mention the organs of the male reproductive system, you have to talk about the testis, you have to talk about the epididymis, you have to talk about the vas deferens, you have to talk about the seminal vesicles, you have to talk about the prostate or the prostate gland. Okay, you have to talk about the urethra, you have to talk about the penis, and then you have to talk about the scrotum. Okay, so basically, on a lighter note, you should know all these organs. So when we ask you mention the organs of the male reproductive system, you should be able to mention the organs and at least give us their basic functions. Okay, so for example, when we ask you, okay, the male reproductive, you mentioned the scrotum. You know, the scrotum is what holds and protects the testis. You see, the scrotum is what holds and protects the testis. That's the scrotum. Okay. Then we have the testis. What is the function of the testis? The testis is what produces the sperm cell. And then the hormone, the male hormone, sex hormone that we call testosterone. Okay, so the testis, okay, that is the organ that produces the sperm cell, the male sperm cell. And then the male sex hormone that we call testosterone. That's the function of the testis. Okay. Now, what is the function of the epididymis? The epididymis is responsible for storing the sperm cells, and it also plays a role in maturation. It ensures maturation of the sperm cell. That's the function of the epididymis. Then we have the vas deferens. The vas deferens transports the sperm cell, okay, from the epididymis to the urethra into the sperm cell, no, or the nibe fi epididymis nini. Into vas deferens, ne the sperm cell nibe fi epididymis na no the baby gu urethra nim. Is that okay? Then we have the seminal vesicles. What's the function of the seminal vesicle? The seminal vesicle produces a special fluid we call the seminal fluid. Okay, and this seminal fluid, what it does is that it acts, it ensures nourishment. It gives nourishment to the sperm cell and then changes it to form what we call semen. Until we say sperm cell ni produce or testis nim. You produce one near the abegu epididymis nim near store epididymis nim. So when during sexual activity, when we need the sperm, okay, the sperm will now move from the epididymis, go through the vas deferens. From there, where is it going? It is going to the urethra. But before it gets to the urethra, this seminal vesicle will add a special fluid we call the seminal fluid to the sperm cell. Then the name changes from sperm cell to semen. Into seminal vesicles and the adwuma and so the special fluid the friend is seminal fluid or the back sperm cell ne ho. Na sperm cell ni dia sesane after your friend is semen. So during sexual intercourse, what actually comes out during ejaculation, we call it a semen. Semen. What is a semen? Semen is a sperm that we've added the seminal fluid to it. That is what we call the semen. Is that okay? Great. That is fine. Okay. Yes. So yes. Then we have the prostate. We have the prostate. What's the function of the prostate? Yes, what's the function of the prostate? The prostate also produces what we call prostatic fluid. Okay, the prostate is also produces a fluid we call prostatic fluid. Now, the work of that prostatic fluid is to help the semen to move or to help the sperm cell to move. It helps the sperm cell to move. That is what we call sperm cell motility. Is that okay? Great. Then we have the penis. What is the function of the penis? The penis is what delivers. The penis is what delivers the sperm into the vagina. Is that okay? So the function of the penis is to help deliver the sperm cell into the vagina or the semen into the female reproductive system. That's the function of the penis. Is that okay? Good. So basically, these are the organs of the male reproductive system. Okay. What are the organs? Testes. What's the function of testes? Yes. What's the function of testes? What's the function of the testes?
Produce
Produces the sperm
Mm-hmm.
and
No, that
sends
is
it to
not the
the
only function. That's not the only
and the
function of the
and
hormone
testes.
produces testosterone.
Good. It produces sperms and the hormone testosterone. You should say the two. Okay. What's the function of epididymis?
It
stores
stores
and
yes
mature sperm.
and
Good.
matures sperms.
Good. Good. It stores sperm. It also matures sperm. Okay. Now, usually in anatomy, if you are learning an organ and it comes with two functions, don't choose to learn the one that interests you because an examiner can choose to set question on the one that did not interest you. So usually, if an organ is having multiple functions, please be very careful, especially with the one that you do not really see so, significant. Pay attention to that one too. Okay. So the epididymis stores and matures the sperms. Okay. How about the vas deferens? What's the function of the vas deferens? Yes. What's the
It's
function of the vas deferens?
starts It transports the matured sperms to the urethra.
You
It transports the sperm from the epididymis to the urethra.
you try.
Is that okay? Yes. It transports sperm from the epididymis to the urethra. Is that okay? So don't just say it transports sperm. If you say that, that is not the work of the vas difference. You see, that's why I told you science. I keep telling you that science is very technical. Science is a course that the thing is, you don't try to write it. Be science, everything is fixed. So if you say vas difference transports sperms, it's incorrect. You have to tell us vas difference transports sperm from the epididymis to the urethra. Is that okay? How about seminal vesicles? What's the function of seminal vesicles?
It produces a special fluid called a seminal fluid, which
Mhm.
ensures nourishment and changes it from the sperm cell to a semen.
That is excellent. Okay, so it produces a special kind of fluid we call the seminal fluid. And this fluid is added to the sperm. And then that adds nourishment, that provides nourishment to the sperm cell and changes the sperm into what we call semen. So when we say semen, semen is sperm plus seminal fluid. Do you agree? Do you agree that semen is equal to sperm plus seminal fluid? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. Okay. Yes. Then we have the prostate gland. The prostate gland. The prostate gland also produces what we call the prostatic fluid. What's the function of the prostatic fluid?
Say it helps with sperm motility and survival.
Good. It helps with sperm motility and sperm survival. Okay, that's the function of the prostate gland. Is that okay? So by the time the semen will come outside during ejaculation, it contains some amount of prostatic fluid. It also contains some amount of seminal fluid. Keep that in your mind. It's not only the sperm cell that is coming out during ejaculation. It will contain some proportion of the prostatic fluid and some proportion of the seminal fluid. Is that okay? Great. Then we have the
So,
urethra. What's the function of? Yes, please. Yes, please.
so,
Ask your question.
so
Yes.
please, I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Okay, so please, what role do the follicle stimulating hormones and the luteinizing hormones play in reproduction?
Okay, that is a great question. So trying to sort of link the endocrine system to reproductive is brilliant. You see the testes. So over here, you see the testes. Testes in your friend male gonads. When we go to the females, the ovary is what we call the female gonads. Okay, they are responsible. So for males, the testis produces the sperm cell. Okay, for males to the testis produces the testosterone. Now, before the testis will be able to produce the sperm cell and the testosterone, it will only happen under the influence of the follicle stimulating hormone coming from the anterior pituitary. Nti ansana saa testis no obetumi ayɛ n'adwuma no anaasɛ n'adwuma no yɛ two o produce sperm cell and second o produce testosterone ansa na obetumi produce saa testosterone no ɛyɛ sɛ command ne fi anterior pituitary ne hɔ na ɛba. Have you gotten it now? That's the linkage. Is that okay? So the testis produces the testosterone under the influence of the hormone coming from the anterior pituitary, which is the follicle stimulating hormone and then luteinizing hormone. That's the work. Okay, so that's the linkage. The same thing also happens in female reproductive system. The ovaries also produces estrogen, and the ovaries also produces the eggs, the female eggs. But before the ovary will be able to work, the influence or the command should come from the anterior pituitary, the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. That is the linkage. Is that so? That is the role of the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. Okay, great. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. So if we ask you to mention the organs, so mention the organs of the male reproductive system. Yes, what are the organs?
We have
Testis,
testes, epididymis, vas determinate vesicles,
uh,
now vesicles,
seminal
vas
vesicle,
determinate,
Okay,
uterus, scrotum.
okay, all right, that is fine. What's the function of the scrotum?
It holds and protects the testes.
Great, it
It
holds and protects the
protects the
testis.
testis.
And again, the scrotum also keeps the testis at the right temperature that is required for sperm production.
So please,
Okay, that's another work. Come again.
what is the right temperature?
Yes, so we will discuss the scrotum. We will talk about it. So this is not it. This is just surface, observation of the organs there. So we are going to take the testes and go into detail. We will take the epididymis, go into detail. So this one, we are just doing a surface overview of the organs there. We are going to look at each of those organs. These organs we are looking here, one after the other, and go into detail. Okay, and over there we will look at the right temperature that is required for sperm cell production. And if that is not ensured, infertility may even occur, and that may affect the based on the effect on the quality of sperms that will be produced. Okay, all right. So basically, that is it for the organs of the reproductive system for males. Okay, so yes, look at this diagram. Yes, look at this diagram. So this is the male external genitalia. Okay, the male external genitalia, or the external part of the male reproductive organ. Okay, so if you have a male reproductive organ and you are looking at the system and you are looking at the parts that you can see at the external, the surface organs that you can see, that is what we have over here. So this is the penis. This is how the penis looks like. Is that okay? So here, this part, we call it the glans penis. Say glans penis. Say glans penis.
Gland,
Last, last pennies.
It's the foreskin. Say foreskin. Foreskin.
fourth,
And this part of the penis is called the body or the shaft. Say body or shaft.
body
The
or
or
shaft.
fast.
Body or the shaft of the penis. Okay, so this part is called the glans penis or the glans of the penis. This part is called the foreskin of the penis. This area is called the body or shaft of the penis. And this part is called the root of the penis. Say root of the penis.
root of
Root
the
of the
Penis is like the region of the penis that is going to have contact with the person's body. That area is what we call the root of the penis. Is that okay? The root of the penis. So we have, so this is the external male genitalia. So we have the glans penis, we have the foreskin, we have the body or shaft of the penis, and then we have the roots of the penis. Then let's come over here. It's the same thing. This is also called the glans of the penis. You see, at the central part of the glans of the penis, we have the urethral meatus. Say urethral meatus.
urethra.
Urethral meatus.
Say urethral opening. Say it's urethral opening.
Urethral opening.
Say urethral opening.
Urethra
Opening.
Urethral meatus. Urethral meatus.
Urethral
meatus.
meatus.
So we can ask you a question from here. We can ask you a question from here that anatomically, where can we locate? So I can set a question like, okay, Sarah is assessing the male external genitalia of a patient who was admitted to the ward, to the medical ward. Okay, during the assessment, based on your knowledge in male reproductive anatomy, where can she locate the urethra meatus? What will be your answer? Yes, the answer will be the glans penis. That is where we can locate the urethra meatus. Is that okay? Then we have this part is what we call the prepuce, the foreskin. You see the foreskin that I pointed here. Another name for the foreskin, we call it the prepuce. Prepuce. Okay, prepuce. That's what we call the foreskin. Okay. Then we have the shaft or body of the penis. The shaft or the body of the penis. The shaft or the body of the penis. Okay, so we have the glands of the penis, we have the prepuce or the foreskin, and we have the shaft or the body of the penis. Okay. Then this is what we call the scrotum. You see the testis inside. Okay. What is connected to the testis? You see here, we have the epididymis showing over here. Look, there's the epididymis. There's the epididymis. This is where the sperm cells are stored. Then, what is connected to the epididymis? We have the vas. Oh, please, if you join and your background isn't good, kindly mute yourself. Priscilla. Yes, unless you want to ask a question, please. Yes, let's observe that. Yes, but if you want to ask a question or you want to respond when something has been asked, then you unmute and then you can communicate to us. Okay, so you see we have the vast difference. Look at the vast difference. But there is something special I want to talk about over here. Okay. Connected to, so look at this diagram. You see this diagram. You see this diagram. You can only see the vast difference going to connect to the epididymis, going to connect to the testis. What's a diagram? Vast difference ne kwane a tube eba from abe connected epididymis ne testis no. But yes, vast difference ne kwane. Vast difference no. Your blood vessels can vast difference no. Your nerve I can vast difference no. And your own lymphatic vessel I can vast difference no. Omu nyina ye do ma gu tube baakum sa tube no ye tube ne spermatic cord. Nti wo so hwe wi a, unhu se diagram we unhu se vast difference ne kwa na eba from abe connect epididymis ne testis. But enye vast difference ne kwa na eba testis no. Enye no kwa na ye tube eba. Your blood vessel can vast difference ne ho eba. Your nerve can vast difference ne ho eba down. And your lymphatic vessel so can ho eba. Inti some asha we say omo electrician omo ye wire na sometimes we say omo the wire co part of building na say wires in the doors omo timi de omo nyina hye tube ba ko bi mu na nam wall ne ho. That is the nature of the spermatic cord. Inti spermatic cord ni mu no inti we ne friend spermatic cord we sa cord we ebeba ba be do epididymis ne nchen. Inti spermatic cord ni mu no your vast difference no ewom. Your nerves ewom. Your lymphatic vessel ewom and your blood vessel ewom. Bisa say what is the function of spermatic cord? Untimi nka say it transports sperm from the epididymis to the urethra. It's a lie. The spermatic cord contains the vas deferens, blood vessels, nerves, and lymphatic vessels. Please, have you gotten it? Have you gotten it?
Yes.
Good. Good. Into say bisa say what is spermatic cord? A spermatic cord and ye cord connected spermatic cord it doesn't transport sperm. Spermatic cord ni mu ne your vast difference. Your blood vessels na echo testis ni ho. Your nerves na echo testis ni ho. Your lymphatic vessels na so echo supply testis. Omu nyina hye spermatic cord ni mu. Nti omo a mo hye building sometimes omo si abun say omo the wires ni na be fa pipe bim. Sa pipe na the wires ni firm na sa na spermatic cord na adwumate. Is that okay? Yes. So the spermatic cord is a cord that contains the vas deferens. It's a cord that contains blood vessels going to the testis, a cord that contains nerves going to the testis, and it's also a cord that contains lymphatic vessels. Is that okay? Great. Yes. Who wants to? Someone have a question?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question, please.
So please, when they are circumcising a baby boy, which
Yes,
part
please.
of this hand the male genital do they work on?
Oh, if they are circumcised and their focus is on the glands of the penis. Is that okay? Yes, during circumcision, the focus is on the glands of the penis. Okay, yes. So that is the area that they remove during circumcision, the glands of the penis. Yes. So it's a good question. Okay, it's a good question that you've asked. Okay, yes. So during circumcision, that is the target, the glands of the penis. All right, that is fine. Yes, please.
Okay,
Come
sir.
again. Hello.
Sir, please, I'm asking that. Sir, please, I'm asking that the urethral meatus, is it the same as the external urethral orifice?
It's the same thing. So I even mentioned that the urethral meatus is what we call urethral orifice. Is that okay? Or you can call it urethral opening. Okay, or you can call it external urethral orifice or external urethral meatus. Is that okay? Great. Great. And
Okay,
then I don't
sir.
know if you've heard of if you have you heard of vasectomy? Have you heard of vasectomy?
Yes.
When they are doing vasectomy, it's one of the family planning techniques that they can do for males. When they are doing vasectomy, what it means is that they have to they if during vasectomy you can't go and cut the spermatic cord, you have to open it. Because if you go and cut the spermatic cord, vasectomy, they have to open, go and look out for the vas difference, and then they tie the vas difference. Born a permanent forever. Okay, vasectomy into your understanding of the spermatic cord will let you know that. So, vasectomy na ukucha spermatic cord nima, which blood vessel, which nerve, what's lymphatic vessel, what pre nipa. So it means you have to cut through into the spermatic cord and then look out for the vas difference and then tie the vas difference. Is that okay? Yes. So in future, you become a doctor. This one will let you know that, okay, if you are going to do vasectomy, you don't go and you take the spermatic cord and cut. This anatomy will let you understand that no, that very cord contains multiple vessels. The vas difference is there. Blood vessels are there. Nerves are within it. And then lymphatic vessels are there. Into all fast are called na ucha. Thinking say what vas difference na what pro nipa no. It's not only the vas difference that spermatic cord contain. And if you go into it, you are not going to see all the three cords. All of them will be within one cord called the spermatic cord. So a surgeon going to do this, the vasectomy, have to open through and then pick out only the vas difference. Is that okay? All right. I think someone too wanted to ask a question so that we can quickly
Yes.
go. Okay, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Sir, please, I
Go
wanted to
ahead.
ask that
Yes.
when the vasectomy is going on and the spermatic cord is being cut and the this thing is being seminal vesicle is being vas deferens is being located and then being
Okay.
tied. Does
Okay.
that mean that the person will have sex but will not release sperms?
Yes, the person will have sex, but the sperm will not be released because the vas difference is what have to come and deliver the sperm into the urethra. That is what will have to bring the sperm. Is that so? What we are and again, the fact that we are doing vasectomy for family planning does not also mean that the person as a male does not need the testes. Don't forget that testosterone as a hormone is what gives males their physical characteristics. And that is why if you have noted, even animals and human beings, if we do vasectomy for even an animal, check. There are times their physical characteristics now begin to become more pronounced, if you've observed. It is say wabuana ye vasectomy man how pa so more because now the testis that was having two functions, now all the functions, the testis function for sperm production not be needed because sperm production is produced on demand. It's like the breast milk. Breast milk production, you see, is produced more on demand. As you are giving it out, the child is suckling, the more is being produced. That's how sperm production works. As you are using your male reproductive organ, you know, you are releasing more sperm, the more sperms are being produced. So if you do vasectomy and now you are not giving out sperm, then what it means is that the testes will now focus on producing more testosterone, and that would now come and make your physical characteristics as a male become more prominent. So if you look at people that they've done vasectomy for, you see that they will become more masculine. Okay, because the testicular function is now focused on producing more testosterone, and that would make the person to become more masculine. Is that okay? Yes. So basically, that is it. Yes, basically that is it. Okay.
So please,
So
so when it's being the sperm is being produced and it's not being released, it gets to a time it ceases production.
in fact, sperms are being produced. Just get the concept that sperms are produced on demand. Glands usually work more on demand. The more you demand thyroid hormone, the more thyroid gland works. Is that okay? The more you are giving out sperm, the more sperm production occurs. Okay, breastfeeding, the mammary gland, the more you are giving a child breast milk, the more milk is being produced. That's how organs work, and that's how hormones production operates. Is that okay? So if the
Sir,
testis is not, you are not
sir,
utilizing the sperm.
sir,
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
sir,
good.
please, does it mean as a normal human being, you have to be producing sperms? You have to be releasing sperms.
We will come there, gentlemen. We will come there. It's also a subject. You better huh? Agrono, agrono, babu fee into Montomo Boase.
Take your time.
We will come there. Don't worry. We will come over there. Is that
Okay,
okay?
sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, we
Okay,
will come
sir.
over
Okay.
there. But anyway, based on those questions that you are asking, let me use that to to touch on some few things. So, for example, you see that the testis produces the sperm. The sperm is stored in the epididymis. You see, as you are having sex, before this prostate will produce the prostatic fluid, there should be sexual intercourse. Okay, and sana prostate will be releasing prostatic fluid, as a beam and have sex. So if you are not having sex, what it means is that this gland will not be working. It is I won't have sex as a male, a matured male. It means that this prostate gland will on yena juma, won't mean yena juma ye, because and son will be released as sperm, eba. And the sperm will only come during ejaculation when the male have to release before the sperm will come. Before the prostate will also get the opportunity to produce the prostatic fluid to add on. So what that means is that if you have a male that is not having regular sexual intercourse, is that okay? It means sperm is not coming into prostate way. Prostatic fluid in the bit me build there could do baby to cause a problem for the male. Is that okay? Yes. And the same thing
Okay,
also
sir.
applies to the seminal vesicles. The same thing also applies to the seminal vesicles. So sperm cell ma bontia. Seminal vesicle no intimi release it. The only thing that will trigger the release of the seminal fluid is sperm cell na ba bonting. And the only thing situation that will also trigger the prostate gland to also release the prostatic fluid. And also a sperm cell na ba bonting. And so if the person is not having sexual intercourse and is not releasing the sperm cell, what it means is that there is going to be a buildup of the prostatic fluid in the prostate gland, and that can cause a problem. And on a bit near cause you are able to say benign prostatic hyperplasia, and sometimes even prostate cancer risks would increase. Is that okay? Yes. So these are some of the problems. Okay, these are some of the problems. So to the young lady that asks about the sperm, if we tie the vas difference, it means that once you've tied the vas
Sir,
difference, what it means is that you've cut away the reflex that sperm will even have to be released. So what it means is that now the person no more needs the sperm cell. So once you don't
sir,
need the sperm cell, okay, the testes will not focus more on producing the sperm cell and will rather produce the testosterone. Okay. Yes, someone is also asking a question. Please go ahead quickly.
yes, sir, sir, please, I want to ask you concerning
the question that the guy asked.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so you are saying that if a male is not having sex, meaning that
Okay.
the sperm cells will not be producing sperms, right?
Oh no, please. Please. Then it means you are not concentrating.
It produces, but like when you don't release it,
Please, please,
it
please, please,
makes
please. No, you are changing the whole concept of explanation I gave. The sperms are constantly being produced in the testes. See, I
okay.
say you. Sperms in the testes no pembia or produce. One testis wing. There's the testis. Ono na adwuma a ɔyɛ mmienu o produce sperm cells na produce testosterone. Nti ɔno no ɔnkɛ o sex a ɔkɔ have. Testis ne de bi ɔno o produce ne sperms ne testosterone. What you say? But the prostate gland na ye can ho asem prostate gland we ɔno so ɔno na adwuma a ɔyɛ ne so ɔno no produce prostatic fluid. Ɔno so no kɔ have sex one have ɔno no ɔyɛ na adwuma o produce pepepe. But you say o produce we are prostate gland and son will be releasing a geo nipa na have sexual intercourse for the sperm cell to get here before the prostate gland will also release the prostatic fluid. Is that okay? So if you are even having sex, okay, and you are having sex, and then your prostate gland, if you are not having sex and your prostate gland is producing, there is no need for it to release. It will only release the prostatic fluid during sexual intercourse when the sperm cell has gotten there. The same thing applies to the seminal fluid. The seminal fluid will only be released and added to the sperm cell when the sperm cell have gotten dead during ejaculation. Okay, into a nipa no have sex na sperm cell no release free epididymis ni mu no. Edu baby omo wana ne seminal fluid no so release seminal fluid, seminal vesicle na release seminal fluid na ka ho. Na prostate no so release prostatic fluid na ka ho. But if the individual is not having sex, they are producing, but they will not be released to add to the sperm cell. Is that okay? Yes. And
Okay.
and that should tell you that sex is very important to the male human being. Is that okay? Because without that, listen carefully, please. Without that, the person is at risk of diseases like prostate cancer and also benign prostatic hyperplasia. Okay, benign prostatic hyperplasia is more like a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate gland. Is that okay? Yes. So basically, that is it for the prostate gland and then the seminal vesicle. So keep it in your mind. For when it comes to reproductive system and endocrine system, glands usually work on demand. Into testis, and say so.
Huh?
Someone who is regularly having sex will end up having the testis to be producing more sperm cells. So if you have someone and we've done vasectomy for, okay, we've done vasectomy, we've tied the vas difference. What it means is that person, yes, please go ahead. Yes, ask your question. Yes, a gentleman wanted to ask a question. Yes, go ahead. Hello,
Sir,
go ahead.
I said, please. You see, some of the boys they get wet dreams. So I want to ask that. I said, is it that the body naturally tries to release the
That
sperms
is
that are
it.
built up in the
Yes, so it means you have
friend
an
sector?
answer. You have a good answer to your question already. Yes, so these are all psychological reflexes that are helping you to release. Is that, and these things are not spiritual things. Sometimes some people interpret it as spiritual. It's not spiritual things. They are all psychological reflexes or psychological control mechanisms that are helping you to release some of the prostatic fluid. Because prostatic fluid, a good hot child of problems. Prostatic fluid is a good hot child amount of problem. But the females, you are thinking about the male's own. When we get to your point two, I'll talk about certain things that will let you also know that without sex, you can also get problems. Is that okay? Yes. That doesn't mean go around and go and be having sex anyhow. Yes, but you have to understand some of these things so that when it comes to you educating your patients on the word, you know how to, you know how to educate them properly. Is that okay? Especially when you
Please,
meet
I have
married
a question.
couples. Yes, ask your question, please. Go ahead.
Please, is there anything like blue balls?
Oh, which one is the blue boss?
And the guys have been seeing it, but we don't know, so we want to confirm if there's anything like
Sir, please don't
But
answer. They keep they
The blue boss, the blue
uh-huh.
boss, the
Uh-huh.
guy said, if you deny them sex when they are with you and their sexual this thing arose and you deny them sex,
Okay.
they
they'll
feel
tell
a
you they'll get
painful
blue
this
balls.
thing at their sides. Is it true? That's what the lady is asking.
Oh,
Or
I
training,
don't really I have no idea about that. But why are you also going
Hey,
to why are you also going to deny you are going to arouse the person and deny the person? Why do you arouse the
say
person?
above you,
it's
say
not a
above.
lady's fault, so yeah, it's a guy's fault.
Please don't go and arouse anybody's son, please.
Sir, please, could you please share the slide they are on with the group for those of us who cannot see the screen?
Oh, all right. I know all those things, all those slides. You have them. It's in your handout. I've given them out already. Please. So check your
Okay.
your yes. I've given reproductive slides to your reps already. All right.
Alright.
Okay. So let's look at the functions of the female reproductive
Sir,
organs. Okay. Yes.
sir, please, I have a question.
Yes. Ask your question. This gentleman is having a lot of questions. Who is that?
Sir, this is Prince.
Okay. Prince, go ahead.
Uh, sir, I'm asking a question on the shaft or the body.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead
Okay.
and ask your question.
I would like to know the clinical uh, infection or condition that will affect the shaft. And then again, I want you to talk about the erectile tissue, the corpus vallosum and the,
Oh,
the
clinical conditions that can affect the shaft. The shaft can. First of all, let me talk about the what we have within the penis. So within the penis, we have erectile tissues. Is that okay? So the corpus spongiosum and then the corpus cavernosa. Okay, these are erectile tissues. When we say erectile tissues, these are tissues that have the capacity to, be filled with what? With blood. Okay, so that the penis gets erected. That is what we call erectile tissues. Okay, when we talk of, clinical conditions that can affect, fine, we can have rashes. When we look at the shaft, we can have rashes, you know, coming on the shaft based on some infectious conditions. That is for infections. Okay, and again, physically too, it can be traumatized. The shaft can be traumatized. Is that okay? Yes. So if the erectile tissue sometimes during sexual intercourse, can be injured. And that is why what sometimes people refer to as pineal fracture. That can also happen on the shaft. Is that okay? All right, that is fine. So quickly, let's look at the female reproductive organs. The female reproductive organs. So the female reproductive organs, we have the ovaries, we have the fallopian tubes, we have the uterus, we have the cervix, we have the vagina, we have the vulva, and then we have the mammary glands. Okay, so when we ask you to mention the organs of the female reproductive system, you have to talk about the ovaries. The ovaries are two. We have the right ovary, and then we have the left ovary. The right ovary, and we have the left ovary. Okay, then we have the fallopian tube, the right fallopian tubes, and then the left fallopian tubes. Okay, then we have the uterus. Okay, now keep it in your mind. In reproductive system for females, when we say uterus, the cervix is part of the uterus. Uterus no nase, the lower two-third of the uterus, that is what we call the cervix. Okay, into where when friend uterus, but I see fi eha, ebesi asiha no your friend is cervix. Okay, so in most textbooks, you may see them, picking out the cervix separately as an organ and touching it and talking about it them. But then you have to know that the cervix is part of the uterus. Uterus na se no. Nti hwɛ, ɛha nyinaa saa adeɛ wei nyinaa wei ne nyinaa na yɛfrɛ no uterus. But fi aseɛ ha nom ɛha, fi ha nom besi aseɛ ha ɛna yɛfrɛ no cervix. Okay, so the uterus is the lower the cervix is the lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. Into say ni nyinaa ɛha we nyinaa your friend uterus, but lower part no aseɛ part no your friend then cervix. And when say cervix no na ɛkɔ join aseɛ part no na ɛkɔ join the vagina. Okay, so when we ask you what is a cervix, the cervix is the lower portion of the uterus that joins the vagina or that opens into the vagina. Okay, then we have the vagina. The vagina is a muscular canal. It's responsible for sexual intercourse and also for childbirth. Okay, and also the vagina is also useful for menstrual flow. Then we have the vulva. You can say vulva. Vulva is female reproductive organ. The ubet do wani say your mouth female. Na so daho na wo ye na physical assessment the reproductive system part a wodi wani be hu no eno na friend vulva. It is a can vulva, some books they call it external female genitalia and one a vulva. Now after marking your script, one of the challenges I've observed for some of you is that monte words na say, because the question says that draw the neuron, no be draw nephron, not be. In fact, a good number of you drew the nephron, which completely tells that you don't understand the words. So please, it's very important to don't just be learning the things, understand the words, be familiar with the words. Is that okay? Yes, because neuron is completely far away from nephron. So it means that you don't understand the words. Is that so? In exams, you cast a draw, vulva. It means say a person will draw when a person will draw. You cast a vulva when your friend a vulva. Okay, the external female genitalia. And I asked them one time in exams to draw it. So you can't draw vulva. I mean, it said draw external female genitalia. Into female dahona or your assessments are part of the reproductive system. That is what we call the vulva. Okay. Okay. So when you hear vulva, they are talking about the external female reproductive organs. This is what we call vulva. Into bisa vulva in anatomy. It means the external female reproductive organs. Into vulva ni din for no. So you can vulva external. Into who could be a textbook being then they've written external female reproductive or is the same as the vulva. Is that okay? It's the same as the vulva they are talking about. Okay. Yes. So these are the
See,
organs of the reproductive system. So we have the ovaries, we have the fallopian tubes, we have the uterus, we have the cervix, we have the vagina, we have the vulva, and then we have the mammary glands. Yes, someone wanted to ask a question. Who is that? Okay, that is fine. So if we ask you, okay, mention the organs of the female reproductive system. The ovaries are to the right ovary, the left ovary. The fallopian tube. What's the function of the ovary? The ovary is what produces the eggs. Okay, the female
mm,
gametes. Okay, the female gametes. What's the function of the ovaries? The ovaries produces the female gametes. What's the function of the fallopian tube? The fallopian tube, that is where fertilization takes place. 2, the fallopian tube also carries the egg from the ovaries to the uterus. That is 2. So if we ask you, what's the function of fallopian tube? Fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. 2, the fallopian tube also carries the eggs, the fertilized eggs. Okay? It carries the eggs from the ovaries, including the fertilized egg, into the uterus. Okay? What's the function of the uterus? The uterus is where the fertilized eggs are implanted. The eggs no fertilize here. Say male sperm cell ne be fertilize female egg na. Near the to uterus. That is where they will be implanted. Is that okay? Great. And that is where the pregnancy grows. So if a woman eventually gets pregnant, the baby actually grows within, the fetus grows and develops within the uterus. Then we have the cervix. What is the cervix? The cervix is the lower part of the uterus that opens into the vagina. The cervix also allow passage for the sperm to enter and go into the fallopian tube. Okay, then we have the vagina. The vagina is a muscular canal responsible for menstrual flow, sexual intercourse, and also childbirth. Then we have the vulva. What's the function of the vulva? The vulva is the external. If we ask you what is vulva, the vulva is the external part of the female reproductive system, and it protects the internal female reproductive organs. What's the function of the vulva? The vulva is the external part, the visible part of the female reproductive organs, and is responsible for protecting the internal female reproductive organs. Then we have the breast or the mammary gland. What is the function? It produces and secretes breast milk that nourish a baby after birth. It produces and secretes breast milk that nourishes a baby after birth. Is that okay? Okay. So quickly, let's look at. So you see, this is the ovary. Okay, this is the ovary. So we have the
Bimo.
right ovary, and then we have the
Is
left
that the
ovary.
result of the glands?
Okay. So we have the right ovary, and then we have the left ovary. Then here we have the fallopian tube. Here too we have the fallopian tube. So we have the right fallopian tube, we have the left fallopian tube. The fallopian tubes, you can also call them the uterine tubes. Into me,
Sir.
bisa question or exams. And if I ask a question on exams that um which female reproductive structure or organ carries the egg from the ovaries to the uterus, then the answer uterine tube is there. Is correct. You can also call it the
Sir,
uterine tube. Yes, who is that? Ask your question, please.
please, I want to ask a question.
Go ahead and ask.
Sir, so please, when intercourse takes place and then the eggs are also being released,
All right.
does the sperm goes to meet the egg or it follows the egg? I mean that does it go straight to the fallopian tube?
Yes, of
Does
course.
it
The
go
sperm have to
through the
travel
fallopian
up.
tube to the?
The sperm have to travel up through the cervix, through the uterus, to the fallopian tube. That's where fertilization takes place. Yes, so that is it. So the sperm have to travel through the cervix into the uterus, into the fallopian tube, and go and meet the egg there for the fertilization to take place there. Is that okay? Before the fertilized egg comes back and are implanted in the uterus. Is that okay? Please, are we good?
Sir,
What if the
sir,
fertilized egg doesn't come?
What if the fertilized egg? Yes, so there are chances, and that is what we call ectopic pregnancy. There are chances that the the fertilized egg will fail to come and implant in the uterus, and then the pregnancy grows within the fallopian tube, and non your friend ectopic pregnancy. And I say obstetrics, friend ectopic gestation. Okay, you can't gestation. Brofo for edema pregnancy in your friend gestation. Nti fertilized egg, if it fails to descend from the fallopian tube into the uterus to be implanted, that is what we call ectopic pregnancy. Is that okay? Yes. Someone also wanted to ask a question.
please, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead and ask.
Sir, please, I want to ask how vascularized the clitoris is. That when FGM takes place, it causes a lot of bleeding.
Oh, then it means like you've answered the question in a question. No? You've answered your question in a question because you are asking how vascularized the clitoris is, that if we cut,
Please,
it
sir.
causes bleeding. That means that you've answered the question yourself. Yeah. So it's a good submission. I would consider your point as a submission. You are making a submission. Is that okay? Yes. So the clitoris is vascularized. Yes, that is why you are able to tell that when you cut, it causes bleeding. It should tell you it contains a lot of blood vessels, or we have a lot of blood vessels supplying there. Okay. And what you should know is that the clitoris is also similar to the glands of the penis for females. It contains a lot of, um, arousal tissues. Okay. And we have a lot of nerves there, sensitive nerves or arousal nerves over there. Okay, but apart from that, it also contains a lot of blood, vessels being supplied to that area. Okay, and it's a very sensitive structure in the female reproductive system. Okay, so yes, so like you said, it's vascularized. Yes, that is why if you cut, but why are you going to cut? Is it during female circumcision?
Yes, that one.
Yes,
System
good.
FG.
Yes, so that your knowledge on the clitoris anatomy will let you know the risk that is involved when they do female circumcision. Okay, go and cut the clitoris. You understanding that, and that should also tell you that it can affect the female libido, because you see, most of the arousal cells are there. We have a lot of arousal cells there. So if you go and cut the clitoris as part of this circumcision process, okay, you are causing a lot of harm to the female. That one is going to affect their sexual drive or sexual desire. Two, risks of bleeding. Person can bleed and die, hemorrhage, go into shock and die. Is that okay? Three, risks of infections. Okay, later on when we start looking at the vulva, you get to understand that the clitoris is closer to the urethral meatus and the vaginal opening. So this go through risk. All right. We you now know they ask you to mention I believe and other time you just the that I do and I gave them in exams. And they talk about uterus. Okay, this is called PNG. This is and so if I point anywhere on this tube, you just label fallopian tube. If I point anywhere on this, you call this one the uterus. If I point the egg, you call it the ovary. Is that okay? Then you see the inner lining of the uterus, we call it. Uh,